so I'm interested, aren't you?
Welcome back to Happy Hour Live with Meg
and T.
Happy to have you here. We have some special guests in the house tonight. We'll introduce you later on. But we're going to get started in a minute here, working off a prompt from the viewers from a few episodes back. There were quite a few requests for different flavors of martinis. So he took the prompt of the blueberry martini, and I took the prompt of the espresso martini.
Yeah, so funny. When I first started bartending, every place had an espresso martini. Believe it or not, it's actually coming back, even amongst mixologists. The blueberry martini, you could see those every once in a while. Probably blueberry vodka.
Possibly.
Shaken with sugar.
Citrus? It's been a while for me. Maybe I would have made a gimlet variation with some muddled blueberries. Honestly, that was a pretty obscure request. I haven't really made too many blueberry martinis before.
Me neither. I've never had blueberry flavored anything.
You know what? When we were at Rooftop, I made blueberry daiquiris, and that was a smash hit for a while.
Of course it was.
But the blueberries were at the peak of the season. I want to say it was July at that time. And I made a huge batch, and we did the farmer's market special, and the crowds went wild. And then the next week, I went to the market to get, mass quantities of blueberries to repeat the smash hit and put it on the menu, and it just didn't quite turn out the same. So blueberry can be a little tricky.
A little hit or miss. It's funny, blueberries really don't taste like much, except for maybe 1 week in the season. About right.
And it's difficult to make it translate in a beverage. I also made a blueberry flavored drink last year when I was interviewing at the Virgin Hotel, and that was the day Kiki Braverman came to visit our house, and she had all the Pure Liqueur products with her. She was tasting you on them, and I was cooking down blueberries in the kitchen, and she had all her little sample bottles out. And I said, hey, can I grab that elderflower real quick? And I cooked down the blueberries in elderflower syrup. So that actually worked really effectively. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That was for my job interview. And that translated really well. And I did do that in a gimlet kind of style.
Perfect.
That day.
Aside from that.
But that's your cocktail.
Yeah, I got to do the blueberry martini, don't I?
So I'll let you do that. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
The closest thing to a blueberry martini I can do is put a drink in a martini glass. But I can't really make fun of it too much. So we will use blackberry.
Hey!
Crème de Mure. French.
Way to work with what you got.
Yeah, you got to. I know this product very well. It's kind of smells like blueberries, but crème de mure is blackberry liqueur. We've spoken bitters, amaro, but we haven't really done much sweetener flavored liqueurs at all, have we? I'm trying to think here. You maybe did the Ancho Reyes that had some flavors to it.
Well, we had the pure blood orange spice in something I did earlier on.
Yeah.
We didn't talk at length about the category, but I did talk about how much I love Kiki's products.
Yeah. So the blood orange spice is a little more complex. This is fairly simple. It's just blackberry, sugar, water, and alcohol, of course. And I haven't worked with it to make a blueberry martini before, so I'm going to just do a kind of blend of my favorites. I'm basically going to make a whiskey sour flavored with blackberry, hence the blueberry.
Awesome.
So luckily I bartended long enough to make a very good guesstimation on the portions here. I'm going to use a whole ounce of this stuff, believe it or not. So this might seem really blueberry-like blackberry. I'm going to use 3/4 of an ounce of lemon as my sour agent. So remember, sweet, sour. I don't know what the bitter is and the salt, but sweet and sour. And then I'm going to use this whiskey. Last time I made that Buster Brown cocktail, we used a whiskey that had very high proof. But in this case, since this has alcohol in it as well, I'm not going to use a high proof whiskey. I'm actually going to use a sweeter whiskey. So I'm going to get right to it.
And you know what's interesting? Right now, we actually have Mark Andrews live saying that he likes Irish whiskey with blueberries. So you're kind of headed that direction a little bit as well.
Well, I'm glad I guessed that because I had no idea anybody worked with Irish whiskey and blueberries before.
We'll leave it to Mark Andrew, the super pro.
Yeah, Mark Andrews, great.
I'm also seeing Anthony from the Commons Club on here. What's up, Anthony? Nice to have you with us, buddy.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Anthony. Hi, everybody else who's here that I know and Meg knows. We all know each other.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Today was a particularly just a Debbie Downer kind of day watching the news, so we're hoping to keep our hour light tonight, keep you guys uplifted during these crazy times.
Yeah, not good news.
So you're hand squeezing a lemon.
Yeah, well, for you.
Oh, well, mine actually doesn't have citrus, but...
No citrus?
Nope.
Oh, okay, so I won't squeeze too much.
For you.
You know what? I already sliced them, so I'm just going to squeeze it all. We'll use it for salad tomorrow.
Perfect.
I'm using up the old lemons. This is something we do in the bar a lot.
Oh.
Can we talk about it?
Yeah, sure. So, definitely where I work at the Virgin Hotel and where Tamir works at the Bull Valley Roadhouse, which normally we don't talk about those places a lot. But we definitely strive to be as green as possible, sometimes more successfully than other times. But there are a few different things we can do to minimize waste. So definitely using the fruits that we peel. When we crack an egg, we do try to set aside the part we don't use. Say you use the egg white in a cocktail, we might set aside the yolk and make an aioli the next day or give it to the pastry. And then, interestingly enough, Anthony's online, probably my favorite bartender in San Francisco. And then Tamir, who isn't bad. Great, fantastic bartender as well. They both made a project with their dead citrus at the end of the night this last semester. You want to tell them about that? That was your...
Okay. It was a project that it was successful in flavor, but it actually didn't save much of anything because I wasted a lot of sugar and a lot of plastic.
But it was A for effort. It was called,
it was
oleosaccharin?
Yeah, it was, oleosaccharin is a fun little thing you can make from lemon peels and sugar, and it makes this really concentrated syrup you can add to punches.
Maybe we'll bring that back another day because I feel like that deserves its own little moment. But for now, at least we're going to use the whole fruit and then, be as creative as we can doing that.
All right, back to the 3/4 ounce of lemon. And this will be for tomorrow's salad dressing. Or wait, maybe a drink tomorrow. Yeah, we can use that tomorrow.
Good idea.
Oh, think about your requests now, please. We want lots of requests for drinks to make tomorrow and the next day.
You can shoot them all over right now on the live feed. We love hearing from you guys. We're here to make a connection with you, so we're stoked to be here, and we're stoked you're here with us.
Yeah, any sort of inspiration, any flavor, if you like to cook, we'll try to interpret that through cocktail making as well. All right, so I put a whole ounce of the creme de mure, that blackberry liqueur, Gentleman Jack. I'm going to use 1.5 ounces of this guy. Alright. I'm just going to put these ingredients here so we don't forget. Lemon, creme de mure, whiskey.
Awesome.
Alright, and last but not least, water. How are we going to get the water? Ice. Oh, I filled it up. Just about 2/3.
Ooh. Pro tip.
Oh, that smells like blackberry to me. Or maybe blueberry. Which glass? I'll go this glass. Should we have our guests taste this?
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
And a perfect segue into introducing. We actually have a very awesome roommate, Joel.
It's in quarantine.
Hi, everyone.
What's up, Joel? Happy to have you here.
What's going on?
Along with Joel, we do have baby Acacia. Again, she is feeling a lot better today, thanks to those of you who reached out with concern. And then, of course, Darla, the queen of the kingdom.
I'm gonna pass this on to Joel.
My pleasure,
Cheers.
of course.
Cheers.
Cheers, Joel.
As they say in Japan, kanpai.
Ooh, hello,
We're
multicultural.
gonna go now.
So this is the part where we talk about what's in the glass. So yesterday we learned that we look at it first. So I'm seeing kind of a nice little frothy layer on top. It's a little lighter at the top and then goes to a darker color. Can you tell us what you smell and what you taste?
Yeah.
So we see it first, then we smell it, and then we taste it.
Definitely smells like the blackberry.
Awesome. And there's no wrong PS. There's like no wrong way to taste a cocktail.
Exactly.
It's very sweet. It's very good. It's very smooth. And it has a cross flavor of maybe blueberry, maybe blackberry.
Okay, good.
Yeah, if you handed it to me and I didn't know, I'd probably err on the side of blueberry. So I think you nailed it.
Awesome. Well, he's definitely getting those like ripe summer berry fruits.
That's what we want to hear.
Sounds like you killed it, Tamir.
Good. And it looks like a blueberry martini from distance as well.
Awesome.
Yes.
How would you garnish this if you weren't quarantined and if you had all your options? What would be your move?
I'll probably do a lemon twist.
A lemon twist.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, he actually said it's a little sweet, so maybe a little zest will brighten it up and cut it a little bit.
Definitely. And I was going to say that probably my pro tip would be anytime I'm trying to get like a fruit flavor to come through, like a blueberry, a strawberry, any berry like that you definitely have that risk of going too sweet. Some brightness from some citrus, lemon, lime, OJ can definitely offset the sweet. We even had luck last year with a drink that had blackberries using a little red wine vinegar. So that was like a kind of crazy way to get some acid in there. But definitely the sweet drinks that pack a punch, you're going to want some acid. So if you're trying a berry drink at home, get creative with how to use acid.
Oh, yeah.
So, right on. I guess it's going to be
Just
my
a little
turn
hello.
coming
Yes,
up.
it is. All
I'm
right,
going
she's
to
in.
be taking the prompt of the Espresso Martini. And we have... So, okay, someone requested Espresso Martini and someone requested Chocolate Martini. And secretly, I kind of think of them as the same drink a lot of the time when I'm making drinks. When someone orders an Espresso Martini, I always ask... Did you have something you want to say?
No.
Okay.
Simple.
I always ask, you know, what are you thinking? Because there's two schools of thought that I find. People either want vodka and espresso, period, point blank, that's it, no sugar. Probably like Joel, he's like what's your martial arts? Jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, very old style of jiu-jitsu, yeah.
So he is officially a ninja. And super health nut, low carb, you know, lot of supplements. So people who are thinking in that school of thought oftentimes might just want the vodka and the espresso, the up and the down, classic combination, and no sugar added. And those people, if I hand them the same drink that I would hand to somebody who's of the other school of thought, they're gonna think it's not an espresso martini, but they're gonna call it the same thing. So then the other school of thought is someone more like myself, a little bit more decadent, has a sweet tooth. When I say espresso martini, you know, and this isn't actually me, this is maybe like soccer mom palate. No offense to anyone who may or may not be a soccer mom. Maybe you had one somewhere like the Cheesecake Factory or somewhere, you know, like an old steakhouse where they used the Godiva chocolate syrup and Baileys and the flavors are creamy and over the top. Some people might even like it if you use half and half in an espresso martini. The flavors that I love to play with for those people, and I generally just ask a broad question like, do you want it just vodka and espresso, or are you looking for it a little more like sweet with a little chocolate? You know, people kind of know their own palates, so they're gonna like it if I sneak some Frangelico in, maybe Di Serono. I love to use.
What's Di Serono?
Di Serono is like an amaretto. It's amaretto liqueur.
Oh, the almond liqueur.
The almond.
Oh yeah, amaretto.
You know you.
I absolutely know what it is. I'm just being that person.
Please be that person. So if I were going to sneak in the Frangelico or the Di Serono, I would always ask, do you have a nut allergy? And then I would kind of spin that direction. So truth be told, my chocolate martini and my espresso martini for the soccer mom ends up tasting pretty similar. The chocolate would have a lot less of the espresso components. But then the espresso martini I make for the Ninja is just going to be vodka and espresso. And I'm sure you all might have your own spin on it. I'm just going to tell you what I think about when I make it. So
I'm right there with you, by the way.
you are?
Oh yeah, I approach the same thing when people.
Well, I'm sort of curious. Actually, I'm going to put you on the spot. What's the recipe like that you have your bartenders use at your bar? Because at your bar, there's a recipe book. So if someone orders an espresso martini for me and I work where he works, there's a Bible of all the recipes he deems superior. So what would they use? What would they refer to?
So for the espresso martini, well, I have to flash back to when I actually made it on a menu. And what we did was we used a flavored vodka. So we used like a vanilla vodka, and we used a shot of espresso. We added sugar, and I believe that was it. So what they're telling me is they want something creamy. And some.
Who's they? Who tells you this?
When somebody asked me for an espresso martini.
Okay, so you think espresso martini means creamy, like a Bailey's or like half and half?
Something kind of like that. And we actually that's what it was. We added Bailey's to it. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of like a coffee with alcohol, shaken cold, and it had to have that nice little foam on top there. And it was generally sweet, but not super sweet because the espresso has so much acidity to it. It was a little bitter, so it just tasted like a shot. It tastes like a macchiato with sugar.
Totally.
Yeah, that's basically what I think they were asking about, the cold.
Okay.
So that was it.
And an interesting thing that we have now is really amazing espresso liqueurs to choose from. We don't happen to have any here at our house right now, but there's an amazing one made locally here at St. George Distillery in Alameda called Nola Coffee Liqueur. And then Mr. Black is another one that I've been seeing more and more of lately. So those will be really fun ones to add to your home bar. Kind of more artisanal, contemporary alternatives to something like a Kahlua, which is going to be way more mass-produced with less of an artisanal approach. For these purposes, we have my super artisanal Starbucks double shot espresso, which...
Did you get that in the drive-thru?
I panic purchased in the line at Target when we were getting our, essentials
all in one
the
shot
other day. But I'm going to use... I think I'm going to use 1.5 ounces of this.
Okay.
If it were espresso, period, point blank, like real espresso from like the restaurant, I would use maybe 3/4 of an ounce, between 1/2 ounce and 1 ounce, maybe 1 ounce. But this is it's a double shot, but there's a lot of fluid in this. So a lot of that's water. I'm figuring it's kind of
there we are.
The espresso, and then
We're back.
We have no vodka, so I'm going with the Don Q Gold.
Oh, you're gonna spice it up a little bit.
Just a hint.
Nice.
I'm gonna go with, let's do 1.5 ounces there. And typically I would do vodka. I actually love it with a vanilla vodka, so interesting that you said that. And I looked at our back bar today. I normally grab creme de cacao, which is like a chocolate liqueur, and either the Nola Coffee Liqueur or the Mr. Black. But I think Salmon Port has a really opulent kind of desserty mouthfeel to it that's gonna give me some of those cacao caramely notes that I want in my espresso martini.
We're really using up what we didn't want to drink at all.
You know what? I did the salmon competition 2 years ago, and
Oh, I better be
I'm
quiet.
more than happy to have an excuse to use it.
Shh. We love salmon.
We love salmon.
Yeah.
Salmon is a highlight. I just already went through all the other salmon.
It's okay. Who drinks port anymore?
I mean, we
There are some people.
just watch our sugar. So that's actually what I'm using instead of like a simple syrup. And that's it.
Great idea.
I used 3/4 of an ounce, I think. So knowing that has a stronger alcohol content than, say, you know, the rum, or if I had used a vodka, that's why I made the decision to scale back to 1.5 ounces as opposed to 2 there for my spirit base. And that's my cocktail. And then as we discussed the other day, I'm
Frothy.
feeling for that temperature. I know it's right where I want it to be. And then I'm looking in to see that texture has been created. So when you're making it at home, that's kind of what you're looking for. And actually, before I pour this whole thing in there, I brought the Moletti out because I just thought it might be a nice layer of texture and dimension to pour that like in the glass. So I was thinking like a rinse, but a spritz would be even less than a rinse. So I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna try this one as is. And it tastes like espresso and vodka. It's not sweet at all. So this is gonna be more for like the ninja person. And less for the soccer mom. But let's see, I'm just gonna add, for fun,
Oh, yeah.
the little spritz of Moletti in the glass. And if I were developing a cocktail, I might set out a few glasses and try that in one and try, you know, half the cocktail in the separate glass separately so I could really get that experience. But for today, we'll just go for it. And then there's a couple ways to garnish this. I think a lemon peel is pretty classic in Italy to go with espresso.
Oh, yeah.
So I like to garnish espresso martini with a lemon peel to add a little brightness and acid. But since I'm not a fan of our peeler, I brought just a couple of the beans.
That's how I learned. 3 beans. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. I have no idea who those people are, but I was told that's what you got to do. Customer taught me that, just
Watch
like
out.
every
It's-
drink.
It's the Holy Week, Tabir.
Double Holy Week. Oh, yeah.
And I normally do 4 because for some
Okay.
reason, if there's 3, I feel like
So you're not religious.
that doesn't mean I'm not religious. That means I use 4 espresso beans.
Oh, it looks just like what you have on the die.
So I definitely want to try it as well because I'm curious about the Moletti. So already I'm getting a little bit more of an interesting start to the cocktail. I smell just a hint of like that black licorice quality. I'm not sure why. I feel like I smell wet dog, but maybe that's over there.
No comment. Oh, Darla, what are you doing? Hi.
They're kind of just chilling.
You're out.
Definitely this cocktail for me lacks sweetness, which would bring more balance, but I think that's because this is like the Ninja Espresso, 15 calories. But probably for most people who want an espresso martini, they would like it. Just for me, I might use like half an ounce of half and half from our fridge if I was gonna drink it. Why don't you try it and tell me what you think?
Okay.
And then should we hop in there together, I guess,
Yeah.
and finish the episode?
Absolutely.
And we've talked about it a lot already, but I'm gonna say it again. There's no wrong way to make a cocktail. There's limitless possibilities. So just because that doesn't hit my sweet spot exactly the way I want it to, doesn't mean it's not a great espresso martini. It just means my flavor profile wants it to have, like, my flavor, not my profile, but like my preference wants it to have maybe like Maybe that's stevia and cinnamon I put in my morning coffee, I guess.
I would simply say a half ounce of simple syrup would help.
Probably.
That's about it. But you know what? If you need a little pick-me-up, that's it.
The up and the down,
And,
ladies and gentlemen, the Espresso Martini.
I mean, to be honest, if I asked for an Espresso Martini and somebody served me this, I would be satisfied because I can just quickly kill it. It might not be sweet enough, but as long as it's not too sweet, then I'll like do this to the bartender.
The only thing that I think is really interesting is that it doesn't taste like rum and it doesn't taste like the Sandman port at all. So maybe the next time I would make it, since it only tastes like this, maybe I would dial back because I used 1.5 ounces of it.
Yeah.
So maybe next time if I just use 1 ounce, more of the spice and booze would come through, and then more of the kind of complexity of the port would come through.
That's a good idea though, to use it, because I do smell it on here. It's fruity.
So you're getting fruit.
Yeah.
And see, there's no wrong way to smell.
Yeah.
Wet dog, fruit.
Yeah, that's it.
But
I was thinking about the espresso. I never answered your question about the Espresso Martini at my work.
okay.
Since I don't have vanilla vodka at Bull Valley Roadhouse, we make a Brandy Alexander variation.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, so
the
it's super
fire-lit Alexander.
Yeah, so it's a classic Brandy Alexander with brandy. You said creme cacao.
Mm-hmm.
That's the chocolate liqueur, and cream.
He's basically describing my perfect cocktail.
Yeah, so those 3 ingredients make the Brandy Alexander. That was John Lennon's drink. That's
And
why I got
the fire-lit, sorry.
Brandy Alexander is the base, and then to make the fire-lit Alexander.
Brandy Alexander, you mean brandy is the base?
Yep. So
It's a product called Brandy Alexander?
No, the name of the cocktail is Brandy Alexander.
Right.
And the fire-lit.
But the base is what? You said Brandy Alexander is the base.
Oh, brandy.
Brandy is the base.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we can rewind and say the Alexander cocktail is gin, creme de cacao, cream.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Brandy Alexander became popular. So it was an Alexander, but with brandy instead of gin.
Got it.
And then at Bull Valley Roadhouse, we subtracted some brandy and we put this really good coffee liqueur. And that was called the fire-lit liqueur. And so it was basically an espresso Alexander.
Where does that one come from?
Napa.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that my restaurant might need to borrow that recipe because that sounds a lot more delicious than what I've been making.
You can have it.
Thank you. Appreciate
we have
that.
half and half. We can actually make that here if we want.
Maybe we'll bring that back tomorrow to show you.
No, 1 week.
Okay, well, we'll just keep it in the arsenal. But for now, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Been having a lot of fun making these episodes. Do you have any parting words for our...
I want to say thank you for another delivery. We got some more lemons and grapefruit.
Yay!
And I was looking at the requests as I was shooting you. Just pardon my finger in front of there.
No.
But I saw a request for a Vin Nouveau, so we have that today. Lemon, grapefruit, elderflower, maybe gin.
Okay.
Yeah. And so thanks for the requests on there. We're going to look through all of them.
Love it.
And
keep it coming.
We'll be making these drinks.
Definitely. And till further ado, stay home, stay safe, keep your hours happy, and your sips sweet and sour.
And bitter.
And bitter.
Yes.
Kind of like you. Say bye. Bye, puppers. Bye, Acacia. Acacia might not be with us anymore after tomorrow. She's meeting a potential family tomorrow.